Hello, welcome to my podcast, the Lekker podcast. And I wanted to name this podcast Lekker, the Lekker podcast, because it's a typical word used in South Africa. It's an informal word used in Afrikaans, which is my home language, and but lekker is also used in our other languages that you get here in South Africa. If I remember correctly, I think there's 11 languages in our country. So lekker is used in all the other languages. Lekker means something delicious. It can mean something good or something pleasant. And it's used in a variety of ways, actually. So yeah, it's really a word that is loved in South Africa. My name is Yaleen. And the reason why I wanted to do this podcast, or it's actually like a video blog, was to really document my crafty projects. So I'm a crocheter and recently only started knitting, and I wanted to, that is my cat. I wanted to record all those things that I'm doing and share it with everybody else because it's something that I really, really love doing. So I hope you will enjoy this journey with me. So welcome once again. Right, so who am I? I've already said my name is Yaleen. I'm staying here in central South Africa together with in the Free State province in a town or a city rather called Bloemfontein. I'm staying with my beautiful husband, our amazing husband, beautiful daughter, and 3 cats, Maximus, Katie, and Pepper. And they would probably come and introduce themselves. They're all over the place, and where we are, you will find them as well. Right, so I'm a full-time working serving employee in our police service. And I started the crocheting journey in August 2017. I can remember, I can't really remember what was the starting point for me or the thought pattern, but I can remember I asked my husband, I want to go to a yarn shop. So we searched for one because obviously we didn't knew about any because that was not, prior to that, it was not important to me or to us. And so we found this one lady that sells some yarn and all other crafty things. So I went there and I bought an acrylic yarn. And I can remember I was asking this lady, please tell me what hook size I need. I mean, I don't know anything. So she obviously assisted me with the help of the label of the yarn, which that's how I learned how to look for the correct size of needles. And that is how I started. So I went home, I searched on YouTube how to do granny squares. And then I've been doing granny squares for probably 2 to 3 months. So I want to show you though my first granny squares. This bag was gifted to me from a very, very special friend. They visited the United States, obviously New York as well, and so she brought the bag for me. So in this bag I have this big pile of crochet granny squares, and this was the yarn that I bought the first time. It's an acrylic yarn, and as you can see, it's really very skew, not really structured as well. But then I got better over time. There's some squares in here that's looking really good. And then when those, I think I bought two balls of yarn. And then when that was done, I wanted to crochet some more. So I bought a red acrylic yarn. And so I crocheted all the time. And then after that, I thought, when I'm making the crochet square bigger, I can actually make something like, for instance, a lap blanket when we watch television. So I think it's about that time that our local yarn store, or closer to me, opened up. And that, up until today still is one of my favorite shops to go to. The owner is amazing. Her name is Rebecca. And if you want to have good tips or guidance, if you go to your local yarn shop and you talk to the people there, the wisdom there is just unbelievable. So this was my first granny square that I made. I bought the yarn there from Rebecca's store. The shop's name is Yarn Stash Collection here in Bloemfontein, and I made a big square. So I had only one ball. I've completed with the one ball and I realized, but it's still too small, obviously. Then I went back, but when I was done with the first ball, I realized that my square is going skew. So it's like all pointy, not really a square. And I wanted to have more yarn. So I went in there and Rebecca's like, no man, you need to rotate your square. You can't just go around and around and around because of the tension of the yarn in your stitches. It will pull and it will go skew. So it was then when I had my first guidance tip with her. And you will see the join just here. And so I had to turn the blanket, and that really assisted a lot. So I was super proud. I mean, I felt so chuffed and so proud of myself of crocheting this blanket. It's still a firm family favorite. We are using it all the time in our television room. And yeah, so that's how I started. So I wanted to tell you the story. All right. I hope that you will be having something to drink and make yourself comfortable. I brought a cup of rooibos tea. And I want to show you this cup. Excuse me. It was gifted to me by another special friend. She did the glass engraving on this. Is it a cup or a mug? A mug? Always wear your invisible crown. I've got another one. And I just love drinking out of this. I'm feeling really special. And my husband and daughter knows they're not allowed to touch these. So I'm having a rooibos tea. It's a typical tea that is made here in South Africa from homegrown. You will only find the plant here in South Africa. It's from our South African fynbos. It's a specific plant, and the leaves are used, and then you make your own, or it's like a herbal tea. I think the connoisseurs of rooibos tea, or people call it red bush tea or red tea, they would probably not be happy with me with some milk in it, but that's how I prefer to drink my rooibos tea. So it's really, really yummy. Or let me rather say, really, really lekker. All right. Okie dokie. You can find me on social media, on Ravelry as Lady Aline. The links will be in the description box of this video, or this episode rather. And then on Instagram as Made by Aline, one word. On Facebook as well, Made by Aline. Yeah, that's where you will find me. Let me start by telling you what I'm wearing. I am wearing a top that I crocheted myself last year. The pattern's name is All the Squares Stop. I made it with Kismet Yarns 50/50. So it's a yarn made out of 50% acrylic yarn and 50% cotton. Yeah, I just love the touch of this yarn, and we are really getting very cold now. It's starting to become winter here in South Africa, and especially in central South Africa, we are experiencing really cold temperatures. We don't get snow really. We don't have any mountains here, but it can be really freezing cold. So I actually wore this in the week and it was super comfy and super warm. So this pattern is from Kerry Ward, if I remember correctly, and this was published in Crochet Now magazine. I think it was issue 59. But what I'll do is I'll also link the project pages of the Ravelry website of this top, and then you will have the information, all of the information there. So let's start with my completed projects. I had a stash of cotton yarn in my stash, and I wanted to really minimize that. And I was also having a problem with project bags. I really didn't had any, really. I used like small handbags or gift bags, like the New York bag that you've just seen, and I had one that I bought, which I will show you later. So there was really need for me to make myself some project bags, and what better to use than cotton yarn. So I used up basically all of my stash of cotton and I made myself some project bags. So I used the pattern of Knitty Natty. There's two patterns that she's got. The one is the float tote, and then the other one which has a float tote size for 3 skeins and 5 skeins, and then she's got another pattern for which is called float tote mini, for 1 skein projects and 2 skein projects. So let me show you this 3 skein project bag or float tote bag. I made this with Raisa cotton, which is from Kismet Yarns here in South Africa, and I held the yarn double to be able to get this beautiful fabric. I really love this bag. The float tote bag comes with the insert in the bottom and then 3 cup holders, or mini skein holders, if I was not mini skein, cup holders, let me say cup. She's got a name for those, and I've forgotten those now. But anyway, I didn't have enough yarn, because this was actually the last one that I made of the bunch that I'm going to show you now. So to make the insert and the cup or the yarn, it's almost like a yarn cozy, yeah, which goes in here. But I just love this project's this float tote bags. Here is another one that I made, which can hold 2 skeins. And this was so much fun to make. I loved doing this. You can see it's like an oval bottom. Then I had another one. From this, actually, I also had cotton from here in South Africa. We've got Blue Label yarns. I think it's Yarn and Crafts, I think. Yes, so there was a cotton, double knit cotton that I also used, which was a little bit left. So I used it up for this one and the next bag that I will show you. So this is also a 2 skein float tote bag. And sure, I think it took me the whole weekend and I made all the project bags from that. This is the cups that I made, some cups, which I'm using as I need them, in whichever bag I want to use them in. And I need to get some more cotton so that I can make some more. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my throat. So the idea is, I will show you one project later. My 1 skein float tote is still coming up, and then I will show you what is the idea behind the float tote. I think it's a brilliant idea. Yeah, so that is one of my finished objects. So people in the yarn world calls it, what's your FO? So for those of us, or those who don't know, I've learned through time, an FO is a finished object. All right. Then one of the things I absolutely love to make, or love to crochet, is shawls. It really brings me a lot of pleasure to crochet shawls, and it's great for gifts. So this shawl I completed recently. It's called Eva Shawl. I can't remember who is the designer now. I forgot. Malobo, I think. Yes, I think it's Malobo. And I used Kismet's yarn for this, the Rainbow Smoothies. If I remember correctly, I think it's 50% acrylic, 50% cotton as well. Yes, I think so. But all the information will be in the description below, all the project pages in my Ravelry page. So I just love the shawl. This was a very meditative shawl because the pattern is so easy. You don't need to really count. It's just double crochets in US terms. This is my label. Now this is upside down. Let me just maybe do it proper. This is my label. There you go. And yeah, I really love making this yarn, and I just love the hot pink at the end. Yeah, this was really a pleasure to crochet. I think I bumped the microphone, so apologies for that. Right, so this is the shawl, and then one of the things I love to do is to watch podcasts, knitting and crochet podcasts, while I'm crocheting myself. It's so entertaining and very inspiring when you watch the different podcasters talk about the things they make and the things they do and the finished objects and what they plan to do. So one of the podcasters I love to watch is the Crazy Sock Lady podcast from the Crazy Sock Lady YouTube channel. And so watching her for probably more than almost a year, I think I've started watching her, and with that I became curious about knitting socks. So obviously the Crazy Sock Lady, it's like a giveaway. She's crazy about knitting socks. And I've been knitting last in school. I think primary school, actually. And if I have to be honest, my mum had to assist me because my attention was bad. So that was the last time I knitted. And I mean, I didn't do anything serious. It was basically just a square. I had to make an owl. It's like a boxed owl with ears. It was nothing fancy, nothing difficult. So watching the Crazy Sock Lady, I really wanted to explore knitting, but I didn't want to do anything else knitting wise. But I think I might, because I'm starting to fall in love a bit. But I want to do a pair of socks. And then I bought some yarn at my local yarn shop, which I love. Some beautiful yarn. It was my first ball or first skein of proper yarn, not acrylic yarn. Merino wool, superwash merino wool with 15% nylon from an indie dyer called Esteriza Yarn Creations. And I felt like $1,000,000. I thought, oh my word, I'm so special now. I'm so advanced. So I bought that yarn with this main purpose of knitting socks. But then I realized I just can't start, using that special yarn. So I started knitting a double knit acrylic sock first. Yes, acrylic yarn, yes. But I didn't want to mess up something special, So that is my next finished object. So this is my double knit acrylic socks. I used the pattern of the Crazy Sock Lady. However, I had to obviously make adjustments with the amount of stitches because it's DK yarn, double knit acrylic yarn, and I really just used leftovers in my stash, so that's why it's not at all matching. This was my first sock, and as you can see, there's quite a few holes in there. Tension is a problem. I was really struggling. And when I started, this is cuff down socks. The pattern, it's the pattern Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop from the Crazy Sock Lady Designs. And when I started knit one, pull one, I mean, that was just so difficult for me. So I think I did knit 4, pull 4. That's why this ribbing is so horrible. And you can see the sides of the magic loop where it's not properly, you see that typical ladder issue that you get with magic loop, you can see it definitely on this sock. So I was done with the sock. So it's a slip stitch, heel flap, and then you pick up the gusset stitches and then up till the toe. But this was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. And then the second sock, you can see I have the purling under control now, or not control, let me rather say better. So this is the ribbing of the second sock with DK yarn. And then the sock overall looks really better. There's an improvement from the other sock. I was so impressed with myself because I've watched the Crazy Sock Lady as a tutorial on YouTube, which is written together with this pattern. It's really brilliantly written and brilliant. The tutorial is amazing. And I watched, before I bought the pattern, I watched the tutorial and I thought, oh my word, this is just, I don't even understand what she's saying. It looks like high level work. And then it wasn't really. It was really actually simple if you just follow what she tells you to do. So I really enjoyed making these. And then only when I was done with both of these socks, this pair of socks, I felt more comfortable using this special yarn of 75% super merino, superwash merino and 15% nylon, which obviously I don't have the picture with, or can show you the skein, but I can show you the projects that I'm busy with. All right, so let's continue with my whips. And for those who don't know, that is a work in progress. So my whips, okay, let me start with the oldest one. This whip of mine, this is the only bag, the project bag I bought myself from my favorite yarn store. Unfortunately, so it's really a big one, as you can see. Unfortunately, I don't know who made it. It was not labeled or anything. But it's having this boxed insert. And this is a blanket I started last year for my husband. I love to Muzahi crochet, and he really loved this pattern. So I started to do this project for him. Let me show you. This is the Thule blanket of Tina, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce her surname. It's very difficult. But I'm sure that most of you know her. She is the Icelandic mosaic crochet queen. She's really phenomenal, and she's really inspiring. She's amazing with what she comes up with. Anyway, so this is the Thule blanket. I'm crocheting this with cotton yarn, Raisa cotton, 100% cotton, soft cotton from Kismet Yarns, which we can get here in South Africa. And to be honest, in retrospect, I will not do cotton again. So I started last year, and when it started to become spring by us and warming up, I just couldn't deal sitting under this blanket and working on this blanket. It was just too hot, and it's also quite heavy. I think I made this mistake in terms of the width of the blanket. It's really quite wide. And so I stopped over the spring and summertime. So I only recently started again. Let me show you where I started, or I picked up again. So yes, this is one of my stitch markers or progress markers from Moya Yarns. Let me show you. It's Africa. The continent Africa. It's so pretty. I love Moya Yarns. Anyway, so I used it on there. That is where I picked up and started the pattern again, since about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So yeah, it's nice to work on this now as it's becoming cold. And yeah, it's one of my whips. It's far from done. It still needs to grow with a few rows. And then I have some stitch markers placed here and there where I made some mistakes. I've got like a double crochet or something. But honestly, I don't think I'm gonna try to rectify the mistakes. I'm gonna roll with it. I think it makes the blanket special. What really is nice for me about crocheting is there's no machine that can make these things. It's really handmade. And some mistakes actually have some character to a piece, you know, so I think I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm sure you can't really notice it unless I tell you. So yeah, so this is my one whip. Love to crochet on this. Then my second whip is, I only have 3 currently. It's amazing, and I normally have more. My second whip is my knitting socks, which I'm so proud of. So in fact, this is a whip, but it's actually, I do have a half finished object, which is like a HO, half finished object. So this is the one sock. Oh, I must tell you about the bag. Oh yes. So this is my project bag. Oh my goodness, you see, that doesn't work so like it. But anyway, so this is the One Skein float tote project bag from Knitty Natty. And my socks are in here. But like you know, I'm still very new at this sock knitting story. So I have a crochet hook in here because I sometimes drop a stitch and then I need a crochet needle to pick it up. So the crochet project bag doesn't work as well for knitting socks, I've realized, also for the needle points. So I'm busy acquiring from someone from a store a project bag, which would probably feature in the next episode. Anyway, all right, so let me show you my finished sock, half finished object. This is my sock, still using the vanilla socks on magic loop. I'm using Addi needles, 2.25 millimeters, 80 centimeters lace, premium lace. This is, did I say it now? It's Teresa's yarn. It's Clio yarn, 75%. Am I correct now? Wait, I've got the label. Let me show you the label. It's Teresa Yarn Creations. It's Clio. It's the sock yarn. Oh yes, I'm correct. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's a 3-ply sock weight yarn. For 100 grams, you get approximately 350 meters. And this is the first proper yarn. Not that other yarns are not proper, but sock yarn that I bought. And I immediately fell in love with it. And I wanted socks for myself. So this is the yarn from Teresa Creations. And you will see it's a cuff down pattern, again from Crazy Sock Lady. I have 40 rows. Yes, up until I start with the heel flap, and then from when I'm done with the heel flap, picking up the gussets, it's about 60 rows up until the toes. So I haven't worked in my ends yet, and yes, the stitch markers there are as per the tutorial of Crazy Sock Lady. I'm putting in stitch markers every 10 rounds, so that when I'm busy with my second sock, which I'm going to show you just now, I just don't have to use a sock ruler or measure or anything like that. I can just progress with the stitch markers, what they tell me, how many rows. Right, so this is the half finished object. Here is, I'm busy with my second sock, and I've just finished with the heel flap turn and picking up gusset stitches last night. And one thing I've noticed, I think because I'm so new to this, with the first sock, I don't know why, but the tension on my heel flap is really tight. So I deliberately, and I think also with time, realized I made my heel flap on the second one looser. I don't know why I was so tense when I was knitting the heel flap. Doing pull stitches, now I'm feeling more at ease with that. But with the DK socks and this sock still, I was a bit stressed out doing purling. I'm using continental knitting, and it really, for me, is a much better way of knitting than the throwing method, the English knitting method, as I'm a crocheter first, and I'm crocheting with pencil grip. So holding the yarn on my left hand while I'm knitting is just much more comfortable to me as I'm a crocheter. So it felt right to me. So purling, but I believe purling is difficult even if you're doing English knitting. I don't know, maybe that is just an assumption, but purling, my goodness. Yeah, it's something to get used to. But now I'm so happy because I can just continue doing proper knitting for 60 rows. So this goes into the car when my husband and us drive, or we go for a drive, and then I can just sit in the car and knit mindlessly. It's really, this is nice. It's very meditative. Okay, so I've got stitch markers from Naughty Habit. This I found on her website, and I bought also my sock ruler from her. I will link her shop below. And then I wanted to show you the inside of my bag, of my project bag, my float tote mini bag, one skein project. I didn't had the clips as per Knitty Natty's pattern, but when I get to a shop where I can get my hands on those, it will be phenomenal, and it will be great because I will definitely do it. So this bag has an insert. I had enough yarn. You can see it has an insert. Sorry, I'm placing my stitch markers on a keyring like that also for easy access. So you can see there is an insert, and then the idea is to have like a magnetic clip on this side and a magnetic clip on your yarn cozy, if I can call it like that, and then it clips onto the insert, go into the bag. Don't you think it's a brilliant idea? I think really it's brilliant. But yeah, I love this bag. This bag is also from cotton, DK cotton from Blue Label Yarns, as per my other 2 skein project bag. Right, so this is my other whip, my second one. Let me put this away. Alrighty, and then the last whip. So this whip is really, I actually haven't started working on it now. I stopped in January. This is a very special project to me. So how long have I been crocheting now? Since 2017. And then last year in September month, I got a burst of inspiration and I designed my own pattern. Yes. So I tested my pattern and it took me a while because I started with a placemat and then it progressed to a full-blown blanket. Not a full-blown lapghan kiddies blanket, but it can be any size you would want to make. And the piece you see here on this ladder is my pattern. This was my first test blanket I made, and I'm busy with the second one. And with the second one, I am filming tutorials, which I've started in January. But then life happened in our family, COVID. But I think I will share more of that in an upcoming episode. So I haven't touched this whip again, but I need to really start with it again, as I want to release the pattern in August. It will be a crochet along, and I've got amazing testers. It was already done with testing in February, but I just couldn't have any input or work on my pattern since January. But more on that will come in the next few episodes, maybe, or one of the episodes. But anyway, so this is my second blanket, testing blanket, and I am going to start with the inside of the diamonds. So for that I'll be using these colors. It's so pretty. I'm using Eco Fusion from Nurturing Fibers. It's also a yarn company here in South Africa. Brilliant yarn to work with also. Nurturing Fibers, and this is a fiber that consists of, let me show you the front. Right, Nurturing Fibers. And this is a bamboo cotton mix, 50%, 50%. Love to work with this. Also, we've really have some amazing yarn in our country, and indie dyes as well. Normally I see the podcasts from America and Canada, and I'm thinking, I wish we could just show you the amazing things happening in South Africa, because there's really talented people here in South Africa. So yes, yarn is one of them. We've got amazing yarns. So I'm using Nurturing Fibers. So you'll probably see more of this in the next or the coming episodes. So I need to finish this. This is now getting serious. I need to finish this soon. So the pattern is already done, right? The pattern writing is done. It's only now the video tutorials that needs to be done. Then taking photos of this blanket to also include it into the pattern, and then yes, I will let you know when the pattern will be available. I can't wait. Yes, I never thought I would be doing something like that. So yes, it's very interesting, and I've learned a lot, and I hope you will love it. All right, and then let's talk about things that I've bought over the past week or two. So I call the segment things that has fallen into my bag. Right, so I think once you buy sock yarn, somebody told me when you're starting with sock knitting, you're going to go into a rabbit hole, and I feel like that is true. Because I bought more yarn. This yarn again is from Estereza Yarn Creations, and again it is the Clio yarn base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this yarn I bought for my husband. I am going to make him a pair of socks. So pretty. I love the navies, And I think on the screen, the yellow turns up more than like a green, I think. But it's not green, it's like a yellow goldish color. So pretty. And then the other one is exactly the same base from Estereza Yarn. Estereza Yarn Creations, Cleo. And this I bought for my daughter. I will make socks for her. Why is it not? There you go. So pretty. So pretty. So squishy and soft. It's lovely. And then I've also bought a pattern. I think on Thursday. The pattern was released on Thursday. And I'm so happy to tell you that it's a pattern from a South African crocheter, a crochet designer. And I'm so excited. Wait, I have to open up my Ravelry and show you. All right, so the pattern's name is, it's a shawl pattern. I told you I love shawls. The pattern is Fuchsia Fishu. And I hope I'm saying it right, Marianne. I'm hoping I'm not doing an injustice to your pattern's name. So Mariana from Sweet Crochet Dreams designed this pattern. She's got like, I think 20 patterns on her Ravelry page. And this is the pattern. And now the ring light is showing. It is such a beautiful pattern. I really cannot wait to crochet this, but I'm currently dreaming about the yarn I'm going to use and what colors. This is one of the testers patterns or testing shawls. It's so pretty. I think this is a lady from Australia, but when you go onto the Ravelry page, you can find the pattern there. Yeah, so that is another thing that I bought in the week. All right, so I already told you that I love to watch podcasts. One of my favorite podcasters on The Crazy Sock Lady. And then I'm also watching The Handmaid's Tale. So exciting. I can't wait for the next episode. I've already watched episode 6. I think it's episode 6. Yes. And then, excuse me. And then another thing that I love to watch while I'm crocheting over weekends, like this weekend, is F1. So I'm a Red Bull fan, the Red Bull team, Verstappen, but I love all the other drivers as well. So I'm a F1 girl. Right, so yeah, so that is all I have to tell you today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and there will be more things in the next episodes. So I hope you will subscribe and like the video, and then also watch out for my second one. I hope that you love to hang out with me, and I hope that you will have a blessed weekend and week ahead until we see each other again. Bye.